everyone. Welcome to Endostrongg. Here we delve into inspiring stories, expert insights, and discussions that empower people with endometriosis. So, as someone with endometriosis and adenomyosis, I had to be induced menopause at a very early age and also had to go through hysterectomy a couple of years later. So, this actually pushed me into sort of an abyss because it was so difficult dealing with the symptoms, and I found myself very alone. And trust me, that's where I realized that I was not alone. There were millions like me suffering. Hence, I thought it would be a good idea to have someone who knows what it is to go through it and is working towards creating awareness about this topic. So today, I'm thrilled to have with us the co-founder of Miyara, a groundbreaking platform that is dedicated to supporting middle-aged women on their journey to midlife health. And that's what their logo also says. So joining us today is Sanjana, who is the co-founder of Miyara. And she is here to share with us her insights about what exactly is menopause and how is Miyara helping women during this phase. Hi, Sanjana, and welcome to our podcast.
Hi, Dr. Shilpa. Very nice of you to invite me and happy to be here.
Thank you. So now, before we dive into our conversation, it is really essential for us to recognize the significance of platforms like Miyara that focus on, the most overlooked aspect of the midlife of women, especially. So now let's hear from Sanjana their story. How did Miyara come into picture, and how can you share the story behind it?
Sure, I'd love to. So my background is I come from a scientific background. So I have a PhD in biochemistry and I've done a couple of postdocs. So I've lived in Germany and in Switzerland right now. And the inspiration behind Miyara kind of started with my own personal struggles with health. So after having my son back in 2016, I started to face some health struggles of my own, and I didn't know who to turn to. I talked to my doctor, but was feeling, kind of unheard and, dismissed. And I realized that it was just not me going through this problem. There are a lot of women who, seem to be like there's a forgotten age of women. And this is as women approach midlife and this age of perimenopause and menopause. And I was really surprised because if me as a scientist and, as a educated person with a PhD does not get information, I mean, how is it for everybody else? And taking a deeper dive into the topic, I realized that there is really this gap in knowledge and awareness as people go through the next phase of life, that is, midlife, that is perimenopause, menopause, and beyond. Nobody kind of sits down with you and, prepares you for what happens next. And so that's how our platform kind of got started, to kind of just filter through all the misinformation that is present in the media, and as a science-backed platform, and also just to start this conversation about things which we don't usually talk about.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's so fascinating to hear how, your personal experience has fueled such an impactful initiative. So now let's just explore a little more about it. So what was the inspiration behind it? Obviously, yes, it was your own personal experience. But besides that, was there anything else also that was there?
I think it's more about this fact that women never take themselves or their health very seriously. And as a woman myself, I've seen I've done it myself, and I've seen my mother, my aunts, people in the family not give themselves priority. It's always, you're doing things for others, but not taking time for yourself. And it also kind of stemmed from that, where are we sitting with our health, and where are we, prioritizing ourselves? So I think,
Absolutely.
and also in research and science, there's a huge gap in terms of research and science for women's health. So I think from the scientific perspective, it was the need to, help, just bring science forward and research forward. But from a individual woman's perspective, I just felt that once she knows what she's going through, once there's self-awareness, then she's more likely to look for solutions and more likely to put herself, first. So I
True.
think that was really important for me.
Because what you said, Sanjana, it was really right. Because I think as women, we are conditioned not to prioritize yourself, and giving priority to yourself feels selfish.
Selfish, yes. And
Yeah.
I want women to be selfish actually in
Yes.
this, when it comes to their health and well-being. They need to be selfish, and not just for helping out their family. Yes, of course that's important, but just start by helping yourself. So I think for me that was a strong driver for, setting up our platform.
That's beautiful. So I from what I feel is creating a community around midlife health is such a great idea. Because that's the time when women actually start feeling lost. You know.
Yes.
So let's just dive into how Miyara is dismantling the taboos surrounding menopause. Because menopause, from what I have realized, has historically been a topic surrounded by loads of taboos. So how do we break these?
So I think it kind of stems from the fact that women's bodies are considered like, you're supposed to be ashamed of, going through your period, and then, pregnancy, and, everything is shrouded in some kind of mystery and, shame in some
Yeah.
sense. And when we are taught like from a young age not to talk about these things. So therefore, we don't have conversations. So in fact, even now, my mother, who's 70, she's kind of told me, "Oh, I didn't know I was supposed to say anything about this," and women kind of tend to think that their period just one day suddenly stops and that's it. And
Hmm.
nobody kind of understands that at this 5 to 10 years before that you could have symptoms, and you need awareness about it. And I'm not talking about, I'm talking just about natural menopause. Of course, there are many different kinds of menopauses, what you've also gone
Yes.
through. But
Hmm.
when you talk about natural menopause, it's not just a switch on or switch off button.
Correct.
And this is so important for women to know. In fact, people hate inviting me to events and parties because I've somehow ended up telling them that you could be in perimenopause, because then I'm just talking about the symptoms and stuff. But I don't want that topic to be shameful or taboo when they think about it. Think about it as you're empowered with information and now you can do something about it. And so what Miyara kind of does is, firstly, we raise awareness about the topic in different ways. So we talk to corporates, we talk to bigger, establishments, we talk to women-only groups, we talk to, leadership groups, we talk within our own community. We have community, kind of sessions where we talk about menopause. And of course, through our blogs and, social media presence, the first thing is raising awareness because it's important to start the conversation somewhere.
Hmm.
We also have, as I mentioned before, we also have a community on Facebook and WhatsApp where people can, so where we've created a kind of safe space where women can ask questions and, feel supported without judgment. So that's what we're trying to create there. But more than that, we're also a bridge. So for example, if someone comes to us with a, list of symptoms, we want to be able to help to connect them to the experts that they need, whether it's medical experts or it's, experts that we have curated ourselves in terms of nutrition, fitness, and mental health support. So we would like to not only be a bridge, but also connect people to lifestyle support and, solutions that can benefit them.
So it's all in all something which will help the person for an overall, overall. It's kind of a holistic
Yes.
well-being.
I don't like the word holistic, but yeah, it's kind of an
I know, I
end-to-end.
know.
It's kind of an we want it to be an end-to-end solution for women, not only during the midlife years, but even beyond. So
Yeah.
that's the way we want to, yeah. So because
Okay.
the care that you take for yourself during the perimenopause years are very critical on how you age later.
Correct,
So
correct.
your susceptibility to various diseases, and I'm sure you will find a lot of information about that online, but I just wanted to mention that it's very important to start thinking about this phase.
Absolutely, because see now, since people don't talk about it, women actually don't know what they're going through, and and what impact it can create in future is something which they are unaware of. So
Right.
honestly, breaking down this taboo is really, really important for actually fostering a supportive environment.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Sanjana, let's just explore some unexpected challenges faced by women during menopause. Could you just elaborate on that?
Sure. So first of all, I don't know whether we should just put out the definitions first, but menopause is actually 12 months and where you don't have a menstrual cycle. So it's actually just one day.
Correct.
And the 5 to 10 years before that is this period where you could have symptoms, and they could be 34 plus different symptoms. Some reports even say there are 42 plus symptoms. So there could be physical symptoms, mental health symptoms. As one person actually rightly said, one of the doctors we spoke to said, estrogen, which is the hormone that goes down during menopause, affects from the top of your head to the tip of your toe. It kind of affects every organ. So therefore, the symptoms that manifest very differently, and no two women will have the same symptoms. So when we're talking about symptoms, if we talk about physical symptoms, there are symptoms that you might have heard about, like hot flashes, or migraines, or things like that. But there are also mental health symptoms such as anxiety, depression, mood swings, irritability. There are also more other symptoms like the loss of libido or sex drive or vaginal dryness, things like that, which nobody is talking about.
True,
So
true.
there are
That's
it
true.
it it's really can affect many different parts of your body. And the minute that you start to recognize these changes, there is help out there. You can seek out for help. There are more holistic, as we provide nutrition, fitness, mental health support. Or if the symptoms are very severe, you should go and talk to a doctor about it. Hopefully you will find a specialist who will go through your symptoms and kind of help you through it. So it is really a battery of different symptoms, and a lot of people don't even know what they're going through. And suddenly we've had a lot of women coming to us and saying, we haven't been feeling like ourselves for a
Right,
long time. I'm
right.
feeling very alone. I'm feeling, so these are all like things to look out for. If someone in your life is coming to you and says, maybe it's not a perimenopause. So, but therefore there's need for, getting it checked and, going to the doctor and doing the test. But we've had so many people saying that we've been telling people around us, I'm not feeling like myself. I'm feeling very alone and isolated. I'm feeling like I don't feel as social as I used to. I don't feel as confident as I used to. So these could be corporate people working in corporate situations. There could be homemakers. There could be, I don't know, teachers. There could be,
Right.
it's all women who experience this at different phases of their lives, and then suddenly they don't know what to do about it. So this is where I think people like us come in and say, look, it's okay to be going through this, and there is support out there if you need it.
Right. That's right, because I know when I was going through, the first thing that I remember telling the doctor after my hysterectomy and oophorectomy was, I couldn't sleep.
Yeah,
I just couldn't
sleep is
sleep.
oh yes, I cannot stress how many people have come and told us they cannot sleep. Yes.
I just couldn't sleep. And my doctor was like, maybe it's just a surgical trauma. And I was like, I've had a bigger surgery before. This was at least just a laparoscopic surgery, and I have had bigger traumas. Like, no, we'll just wait for 15 days and then we'll see. And trust me, those 15 days, I did not sleep. I felt like a robot, or rather, I became a zombie by the end of the by the end of the 15 days, and it was like crazy,
Yeah.
And that's when I was prescribed pills, but not the HRT,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
surprising how things,
And
happen.
I really want to stress that so many people have come to us with sleep issues, sleep deprivation, and you never really know how much that can impact your quality of life. Not sleeping
It
well, as you
does.
know,
It
it
does.
has a huge impact on your physical, mental health,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah, completely.
everything, and your ability. And women kind of get a taste of it once you have a small baby,
Yeah,
but
right.
it's nothing to prepare you for this sleeplessness that can extend for months and months because of perimenopause struggles or things
True,
like that. Yeah.
true. It's
So
crazy.
thanks
And
for bringing that up. I forgot to mention that. Yeah,
no, and
absolutely.
and these challenges actually make life look really daunting. I mean, I'm so glad that you spoke about rest or the symptoms because it was really important.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give women dealing with these physical symptoms, especially women who have undergone a surgical menopause, because here menopause hits you suddenly, it's not over a period of months or years. It's just come, and it comes with a lot of vigor. So
Yeah.
is there something that you would want to recommend there?
Yeah, so definitely, because I think, like you said, surgical menopause kind of just hits you unawares,
Yeah.
especially if your doctor has never spoken to you about it or hasn't come up with a plan to support you post. And we hope that eventually Miyara will be there where we can, handhold everybody through every menopause experience, but we're slowly getting there. But what would be important is to have a conversation with a professional. Hopefully it's your doctor, but otherwise seek out a menopause expert in your area to talk about discuss if hormone replacement therapy is right for you. And you should be considering it because especially people who go through surgical hysterectomies early are more prone, and you'll see the literature everywhere, more prone to osteoporosis and cardiovascular disease risks, and all of these could be avoided if you have some kind of hormone replacement for a certain number of years, at least till you're 50. And there's studies out there, there's data out there to support it. And in fact, we know an expert, a gynecologist from India, who had no idea that she had a hysterectomy at 38 or 39, and she had to go to another country to get treatment because no one in India would prescribe hormones to her at that age. I mean, this was a couple of years ago, and I think a lot has changed. So definitely consider hormone replacement therapy or other kinds of non-hormonal medications, for example, for sleep, and hot flashes could happen all of a sudden for surgical menopause patients. And as you mentioned, lack of sleep, vaginal dryness. I mean, and there are things that one can do for vaginal dryness. There are topical estrogens that one can consider taking, lubricants. Sex can become very painful if you have a partner or whatever. And even just like urinating and things like that can be an issue. There's incontinence that happens. You might be more prone to
Yeah.
urinary tract infections. I mean, who's talking about all these things? And of course, lifestyle support, like the kind of support that we offer in terms of changing your nutrition habits, focusing on your physical health, doing strength training, that could be important. But I will definitely recommend maybe also seeing a mental health expert, because stress and anxiety can be huge at this stage. You might even feel depressed. There could be a part of your life which you've not been able to live, or whatever it is very important to also seek mental health support and not be scared to ask for it. And I will not, it would be very important for me to stress the importance of talking to your support system, whether it's your family members, it's your friends, making them aware of what you're going through, because we live in society. We need people around us to understand what we're going through. We need their support and empathy. We need to empathize about ourselves. We need to have compassion about ourselves and what we're going through. So I think that is also very important. So being able to have a conversation with your saying that I need help, I need support is also very important.
That was very important because this is what my next question was about. Because
Yeah.
as much as everyone speaks about the physical aspects of menopause, there are loads of emotional aspects like anxiety, depression, VPness. I
Yes.
mean, I never remember myself being VP, but
Mm.
then as much I've become like super touchy, I mean, I can cry like
Yeah.
at the drop of a hat, And I
Yeah.
was like, I was never like this. What's wrong with me, And
Yeah.
this is something which happens, and it is something which is real,
Yeah.
and it happens to women, strongest of women.
Exactly.
So,
I mean, all women are strong. I think there is nothing like women are not in any way not strong. But I
no, no,
think
no,
it's
absolutely.
also it's also it's also a sign of strength to seek help, I think. So I think that's what women
Absolutely.
should realize, that
Correct.
it's not a sign of weakness if you're
True.
going to a therapist, or finding a support group, or whatever works for you. I
Whatever
mean, what
works. Right.
works for someone might not work for somebody else.
That's right.
And that's why we have created this kind of community space where women can join and reach out to us if they need support, or
Mhm.
talk within themselves. Of course, it's a moderated group, so we don't let the conversation go about anywhere,
Correct.
uh,
Correct.
but we want them to be able to get in touch if there is a issue. So, and I we also work with a group of trained clinical psychologists as well. So we
Mm.
we can recommend women based on if they need support and things like that. We also want to work with therapists and psychologists and people who understand this life stage, right? So
Right. Right.
it's very we've kind of done a lot of due diligence to find the right people, and hopefully we're on the right path so that women can seek the right support. Yeah.
Well, that's really nice of you guys to have actually thought about so many things while creating your baby, as I can call it.
Yes, for
So
sure.
yeah, so seeking help, and more than anything else, what I feel is as much as women need to be educated about what menopause or perimenopause is, the men in the family also need to know because they
Correct.
are the ones who are supporting them.
Yes.
And so I think the more you talk about it, more the awareness and better it is for women.
Yeah.
So please seek help if you need, like Sanjana just said. It's not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength that you're opening up about what you require. So now, Sanjana, Miyara is it takes an end-to-end approach to wellness, like you said. Could you elaborate on more about what support you offer?
Yeah. I think I mentioned it briefly
Yeah,
earlier,
yeah.
but happy to share a little bit more. We do awareness sessions, as I mentioned, corporate and public awareness sessions, and we also we have a WhatsApp and a Facebook community where everybody is welcome to join. We do something which is like a support group, which is kind of a closed group. It's called Time to Unpause, where we focus on different topics. We have it kind of monthly. Whoever can join, whoever's available, kind of registers and joins in, and we kind of deconstruct different topics. So we had a conversation about incontinence, and it's not coming from the expert point of view. It's coming from just women
Right.
sharing as women. And it's been very powerful, these kind of conversations. So one on incontinence, one on menopause in general. Somebody came in one day and talking about their, they're having some eye issues, which
Yes.
normally you wouldn't relate to
It
something
was.
related to menopause, but there are so many things which we don't know. And digestive issues. So once we had a whole session on digestive issues. So we do this time to unpause, as I said, once a month. But and the idea is to just create a safe space where women can have conversations. But the other thing is we do personalized wellness plans for women. So in terms of what you need. So you come in, you fill out a questionnaire, tell us what your symptoms are, and we recommend the right support for you in terms of nutrition, fitness, or mental health, or we ask you to go and see a specialist or, things like that. So we have a clinical dietitian in place, we have a fitness expert in place, and of course a psychologist in place. So we kind of help create programs for you that benefit you. And we've had a good response with these programs, but I think now we are planning to take it to the next level, and I'm happy to share more about that.
Oh, that's so lovely. That's so lovely. I just hope that you keep growing, and helping women, cross this phase as smoothly as possible. So, from your end, I also want to know how important is open communication with healthcare providers when dealing with surgical menopause, especially. I'm actually focusing more on surgical menopause because my podcast is more towards endometriosis. But
Yes.
yes, and a lot of women with endometriosis, have adenomyosis, have to go for hysterectomy. So I just wanted to know how important is the communication thing, and what is it that you think that these women should ask their doctors about?
Absolutely. That's a very good question. And I'm not talking about this from a medical
Yeah,
expert
absolutely.
perspective. I'm talking about it from having spoken to women and as a scientist. So firstly, as a woman myself, I think what is very important is that women have like a self-awareness, like check in with yourself and see what's going on with your body. If something is feeling different, don't dismiss it. Don't say, this might happen, this might happen. It's very important to do those check-ins, maybe have a symptom diary in place so that you're going to your specialist or your doctor with data. And this data can be very, very powerful for you because not only it helps you understand what's going on in your body, it can help the medical professional help you better.
Right.
So depending on what the symptoms are, right? So if you have hot flashes, there are non-hormonal drugs which also work for hot flashes, but there are also hormonal drugs which you should be considering if you have surgical menopause. But of course, you have to do a risk analysis with your doctor to make sure it's the best for you. Um, um, so definitely hot flash treatment could be something. And again, hormone therapy is something you should discuss with your doctor for sure. Non-hormonal options, vaginal estrogens, like these topical estrogens, they've a lot of studies have been done and they've been considered very safe to use.
Hmm.
So definitely discuss that, ask them about it, and don't hesitate in going to couple of doctors. I think
Yeah.
we all say, oh, one doctor has said no, then it must be no. No, if you feel like this is something which is nagging you, which is troubling you, I know it's hard, but go to the second doctor, get a third opinion, get a fourth opinion.
Absolutely. True, true.
Advocate for yourself because nobody else unfortunately, in the world we live in right now, no one else is advocating for you. So you need to
Right,
do it
right.
for yourself, as you probably know. I know it's very, very hard, and that's why you also need the mental health support and all the support from your family and your friends.
That's
But it's very important to go seek out that help, and you know yourself best. If you're not feeling the same, if you're not feeling, as you're feeling very alone, you're feeling very isolated, you're feeling weepy, like you said, you
mm,
have mood swings, you're irritable, and you have these sudden hot flashes and things like that, you could seek medical advice for all of these things. But what can also help, and which is like a supplement to what you're doing medically, is these lifestyle interventions. There
right.
are triggers to hot flashes, which like caffeine or spicy food for some has been a trigger. Stress is a huge trigger for women.
Mm,
So these are things which you can control from the lifestyle perspective. Just eating better food, eating less processed food, eating more healthy food, hydrating yourself,
mm,
and wearing, layered clothing or something like that. So, or just having a place to retreat where you can calm down, breathe, be more mindful. so I think there are lots of things from the lifestyle perspective, but there are also lots of things from the medical perspective that you should talk to someone about.
That makes sense. That makes real good sense. Yeah. So another important aspect, what I've realized is a support from the community.
Yeah.
So how does Miyara foster connections amongst its users?
Yeah. So the thing is, it's kind of hard because, like as you mentioned earlier, menopause is a taboo subject. No one wants to be told they're in menopause or they're, going through symptoms. And especially in the case of surgical menopause or other things, when it happens suddenly, you don't want to be, I don't know. It's not easy to talk about it, let's say.
Right.
So it's been a difficult thing to kind of build a community. I wouldn't say it's easy, but I think the people we have, they want to have this conversation. They want to know more. They want to help other people. They want to have this conversation. So there is a space. So we've been able to, foster these conversations by talking about various topics, being open. So whether I'm talking about what I'm going through or somebody else is sharing something, we like to talk it out and look for solutions together. So that I think that has really helped foster this community. And the fact is that me and my co-founder, I haven't mentioned her, but me and my co-founder both come from the scientific background, so we're both scientists. So we really believe in evidence-based information. So I think people like that about us. We're an evidence-based platform. We cut through all the crap that sorry
Right.
to say that, but there is a
Yeah.
lot of misinformation that exists in whether it's on social media or something. So we hope that we are the platform that kind of cuts all this noise out of the way and gives you really the information that you need to support you through this transition phase and beyond.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there is overload of information.
Yes.
How what is right is something which you need to
Yeah,
decide
it's
and you need
difficult.
to absorb. Yeah, so
Yeah,
you
yeah,
need
it's
to find the
definitely,
right source.
yeah,
Uh,
it's difficult.
yeah. So Sanjana, as we wrap up, I want to check. So what's there on the horizon for Miyara?
Yeah, so yeah, thanks a lot for this conversation, first of all. So what's next for us? Like we are really trying to go global with our platform. We want to reach as many women as possible. So apart from the personalized one-to-one services that we offer, we're also developing a kind of subscription model, which should go live early next year. So please stay tuned for that. So these are for symptom management programs that can be done on our website. So the kind of self-guided symptom management programs for whatever symptoms. Hopefully we'll have the whole range of symptoms. Right now we have stress. We'll soon have other symptoms that we're tackling as well. So hopefully all the battery of symptoms, you can just buy the subscription and go through it on your own, because I think for a lot of women, time is a huge factor. Like we don't have a lot of time. We are working, we have families, we have other commitments. So I think we want to bring women a platform where they can check in, do it at their time, because I think this is also very important that you make it convenient and accessible.
Hmm.
So that's kind of the next phase for us. Hopefully, reaching also more and more companies and corporates talking about this topic, and helping their employees access
Right.
our platform.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so that's basically what we have in store, and yeah, hopefully we'll continue to grow our community and reach as many people. Reach maybe do a session just for men. I think that's also important
Absolutely.
to get get our partners and whoever brothers and fathers and whoever our kids
Right, right.
involved in this conversation, so that and I think for Miyara it's very important that the conversation is keeps going on.
That's absolutely amazing. And, I really hope that you reach where you really want when you keep touching lives of millions of women like us. And this has been like a super informative and amazing, amazing session, because I'm sure there'll be a lot of women like me who would have gained some insights from this. So thank you, Sanjana, for sharing this incredible story behind Miyara. And to our listeners, be sure to check out Miyara for a supportive platform and resources which are tailored for mid-aged women.
Absolutely. And thank you, Shilpa, for all that you are doing, raising awareness about, your own personal health struggles and how you've overcome them, and, just providing this kind of platform and this podcast to listeners. I think is very helpful that more and more people like you and, have this conversation so that the whole community moves forward, right?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sanjana. So, to our viewers, please keep watching this space. We will get back with another guest, another session on some very informative topic. Until then, thank you and bye bye. Thanks,
Thank you.
Sanjana. Bye.